Don't miss our hobby showcase on the Vulture Gunship.
Spiky bits.
Welcome back, Hobby Maniacs. I'm Baer, and today we're looking at probably one of the coolest airships ever offered by Forge World, the Vulture Gunship. Now this thing's so cool. It's basically an A-10 Warthog. It goes against pretty much everything it sees. However, it doesn't always hit, as I'm about to show you when we do the rules breakdown. Now, overall, it went from being its own resin kit, which I believe this one is a full-on resin kit. Some of the earlier ones from the mid to late 2000s, until the plastic kit came out, and then Forge World actually comboed it to where this section is the only part that's resin now. The wings, and now that I look at this, this is a plastic combo kit. The wings and the back stabilizers and this fuselage right here, this twin fuselage, is the plastic from the kit. So if you get a combo kit now, don't be alarmed because it's not all resin, because that's the way they are putting it out right now. It's got the huge turbo fan in the front and just that really cool styling. The underneath heavy bolter on a swivel, and you do have to pay extra to get the twin Punisher because it comes equipped with a multi-laser, which normally comes right here. Oh, maybe this is the full resin version. Now that I'm touching it, this is resin. I reserve the right to backpedal at any and all times. So it comes equipped with two Hellstrike missiles, I believe they are, and multi-laser and a heavy bolter, and then you can exchange those, minus the heavy bolter, for the twin Punisher cannons, which is probably the way to go and the most fun to have in game. Now, as far as this model, this was painted, well, this was kind of a collab, believe it or not, by Kenny at Next Level Painting and myself. I painted up the Punisher Gatling cannons in the same weathering pattern that Kenny does on his site. Turns out weathering models is secretly easy, so I literally just followed his system and they match. How about that? So it's a very cool kit. This is available on Forge World's site still currently. I don't think it's out of stock. 68 pounds for the kit itself, and then another 14 for the twin Punishers right there. So that'll run you about 82 pounds, so that's about 115 cash money out. And then painted up, well, if you caught any of our live streams, it's really just the basic grays from Games Workshop with a little bit of Harvest Brown and some of the old P3, some of the P3 blues right there. Very cool, very easy to do. We won't really get into that. Perhaps we'll do a full-on tutorial at some point. Now, I did make my own conversion of this using the leftover parts of, whoa, canopy down, using the leftover parts of the Vendettas, or the Vultures, not the Vultures, the Valkyries, that we converted into helicopters for our Orc army. We had a bunch of pieces left over, and I was like, you know what? Let's make some fighter jets. And we did, and this was some of the very first conversion tutorials on the site 9 years ago, believe it or not. We made this, I dubbed it the Sparrow Hawk, and painted it up in a little bit brighter colors than what Kenny used on that one right there, and attached a Punisher cannon to the front and dubbed it, pretty much my counts, as just about anything. Could use it as a Lightning, could use it as an Avenger Strike Fighter, obviously a Vulture. And once you attach it to the base, now this is the beauty of it, this little cross-member flying stand base is available. I think it's called Shale, from Elric's Hobbies. And the cool thing is you put a little bit of post-attack, I know you've seen this in the past, and then you can just attach your flight stem right there. It's very secure, and put whatever plane you have on here. Now this is a little bit modified over the Vulture one right there, but the Vulture will still fit, of course, and boom, it locks in, and you're good to go, and it doesn't take up a whole bunch of space in your case at all. It's gonna, oh man, that can't be, I need to glue it down. But it's gonna be good to go and not take up any extra space, because storing these bases on their flight stems are kind of a pain in the butt in most cases. Okay, now rules wise, this is in the currently in Imperial Armor Index Astra Militarum, with all the other great Forge World goodies from back in the day. Of course, Tony Cottrell one of the most inspirational folks getting Forge World off the ground, and he's a great, big, huge treadhead himself, so he's always coming out with something cool and exciting for the guard. Man, the Stormblade was amazing. I need to get one of those, but we'll just have to settle for our wimpy little Shadow Swords right now. So the Vulture Gunship, right here, you can see its stats. I'll be honest, it's not impressive. It's just cool. It's one of those units that, man, I wish it was at least 1.5 as good as it is in the rules as it looks, because I want to take one of these in all of my lists because it looks so dope, but it kind of isn't. It's not that effective. It's 160 points. Like I said, it comes stock with the Heavy Bolter, Twin Multi-Laser, and 2 Hellstrike missiles, which aren't too bad, but when you're hitting on 4s and you've only got 1 shot, I'd rather take my chances on shooting the 40 shots from the Twin Punisher Gatling Cannon because we're hitting on 4s. Now, early on, a lot of folks were getting bonuses and getting rerolls and stuff because we didn't quite understand the keyword system, and myself included. I know I played a game wrong right when 8th edition dropped, but it turns out this does not have keyword regiment. So many things that allow you to reroll and get cool abilities, even playing the stratagem overlapping fields of fire, which pertains only to keyword Cadian, which is regimental doctrine. You know, regimental keyword, regimental brackets, whatever you want to call it. These guys are aeronautical imperialists. They do not get any of those cool rules. Not even the Searchlights, where all the Searchlights was FAQ'd to only work on infantry and saber defense platforms. But until then, you could use them on anything. Even the Trojan and the Salamander command vehicle only work on regiment. I checked the FAQ. Regiment does not apply to these guys here. Very similar to how, you know, like the Psychers and the Commissars are all different. You know, they're not Cadian, they're not regimental brackets. So a little disappointing when it comes to the rules there. But you still are getting 40 shots hitting on 4, so it's 50-50 split on the day. With a strength of 5, still is pretty good because you're going to be wounding most infantry models on 3s. Now, I think it does have the strafing run, so against things that don't have fly, the squishy ground targets, you are going to be hitting on 3. So, you know, 66% instead of 50% seems pretty good. It's got all your supersonic rules, you're hard to hit and everything, so it can go into hover. Don't do that. That's just silly unless you got to get dudes out. You're getting jammed up in a corner, and you have to resort to it, but otherwise you're going to be neg 1. Now, here's the thing. Psychers can still cast on this, I believe. Let me grab my book, because there's a Psycher that, psychic ability, I think it's called Night Shroud, that allows you to be neg 1, which would be super helpful to this if you're neg 1 to hit already because you're supersonic. And if it allows it, choose a friendly Astra Militarum unit within 12. So if you can kind of keep him maybe for the first turn, maybe when you come back, because he does have the, what is it? So he has the supersonic ability here. He is Astra Militarum, so that's all good to go. Each time this model moves, first pivot on the spot 90 degrees. Then move the model straight forward. It cannot pivot again until after the initial pivots. Then it bumps up its advance. It doesn't have the Vector Dancer, the old Vector Dancer ability here. It does not look like it comes with that. Nope, it does not. Yeah, I think the Xiphon does for Adeptus Astartes. That's sad. This thing would have been, man, so much better. It has so much potential. 160 points, it's right around that point limit of it's just good enough. You definitely field it in your fun games. You will have no problems with it, but I feel like on the competitive side, well, we would have seen them all over the place getting fielded if that was the case. So, unfortunately, not a whole lot of rooms for buffs besides perhaps Night Shroud as far as that goes, but it is basically the tabletop version of an A-10 Warthog, and it's just so cool looking. Like I said, for about $115 US from Forge World, one of these bad boys can be yours. It's a very easy kit to put together. Don't worry about that. And you just want to worry about this flight stem right here because it's not the most secure when it comes to all that, but it will lock in as long as you don't kind of toggle it very, very much. Wait. See, it's this way. Yep, so it's that way. But you just want to be very careful with it because this was one of the early on versions of this, and they didn't have their kind of computer tolerances really, really down. and super good as far as the manufacturing process goes right there. So probably be a good idea to pin that if you can. So that is about it. That's our big hobby showcase, showing you the Vulture and of course our very own converted Sparrow Hawk. Counts as pretty much every Imperial fighter out there. You can see from the wingspan, it's a little bit shorter than the Vulture, but like I said, it's just funsies, and both of these are a hoot to field in your casual games of Warhammer 40k. Now, if you like these hobby showcase and conversion features here on the channel, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you can be the very first to like and comment on all our videos.
Deleted scenes, bonus content, and all the interviews and post-game wrap-up videos can be located in the Hall of Veterans on thelongwar.net. Visit thelongwar.net today and try a week completely free with no strings attached. That's not all. Thelongwar.net is also your hobby resource for exclusive early access with an ad-free experience to all your favorite videos. Members of the Hall of Veterans gain early exclusive access to multiple hobby videos.